So, welcome to another episode of the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum, TEIF, and our technology partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Today's series is Emerging Cybersec Professional, and the topic for today is From Bits to Bytes, Odyssey in IT, Data Security, and Beyond. We have with us Jatinkumar, a digital strategist, CISO, data protection officer, and techpreneur with 22 years of experience in the dynamic realms of IT, cybersecurity, and digital transformation. So, friends, my name is Amirr Virani, and I'm host at the Coffee Conversation Show. I'm a legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution. So, Jatin, welcome to Coffee Conversation. Just wanted to brief you. We will be having this coffee conversation in three parts. First part is covering your professional journey. Second is a personal journey. And third is a surprise round, that is a rapid fire round.
Okay. I'm more worried over the last one.
Yeah. So let's begin.
Thanks for the good ones. And thanks for the welcome.
Okay. So let's begin your professional journey. So Jatin, you have an impressive profile of 22 years journey in IT, information security. We, the viewers, the listeners, like to know some of your key milestones in this 22 years journey.
That's great. I think to cut a short journey of 22 years in few minutes is going to be a good task. But then I will try my best to make sure that it is quite summary and give you the exact things. So it all started with hard, nuts and bolts. So I am purely a hardware engineer. Started as a hardware engineer with one of the pioneer hardware company called PCS Industries way back in 2002 or 2002. And I was basically instrumental in setting up their first OEM lab, which used to certify all the hardwares against the operating systems and in the softwares of the world. So that was a huge task, and I was there for, it almost took me 9 months to establish the same, the entire lab of almost close to around about 3,000, close to around about 2,000 square feet. It was a huge, you can say it was a mini data center in itself, housing a lot of computers and housing a lot of technical latest hardware at that particular point of time, and that is certified across it. So that was one of my key milestones. Then I jumped to a lot of other companies in IT, ITS, serving a lot of companies within the media, manufacturing, then pharma. And then finally I got a big break. I would say a turning point in my career was with one of the Swiss company based out of India. Sorry, it is based out of Swiss as well as US, and I was joined as at an executive level, but then through my hard work, I got promoted and I was heading their IT department. This was my turning point. I got to basically implement a lot of critical applications, be it ERP, be it CRM, be it SCM, everything on the SAP, transform the entire IT infrastructure and the IT landscape, not only from the endpoint level, but also from compute level as well as from the application perspective. I was and also was part of the information security team, handling the entire information security team for the Indian operations. So that's where my basically the information security journey started way back in 2007. So the first that was the first audit I faced in 2007, and it was conducted by one of the big four company. I would not like to name them because of confidentiality reasons. But then that guy who came and audited me was really good. He was quite helpful. He literally made me understand a lot of the good concepts about the information security, and that basically triggered me to join into this information security. And then It all started with doing the small works within the company, internal audit, then managing the IT security. At that particular point of time, information security was quite a new word, so we always used to call that as IT security. So we started with IT security, data security, or I would say IT security, managing the devices, servers. So that was a turning point, and that's where 2005, 7, 6, 7, 8 was the turning point for me, which made me to go into the information security. I was quite there with that company called Metal Toledo, and I left that company in 2011 and joined the Tata Group company called Tata Consulting Engineers. Again, here I was wearing multiple hats. I was handling information security. I was handling customer support. I would say internal customer support, and then I was also handling the critical application which were for the customer side. Maybe you can call that a CRM, or maybe you can call it proposal management systems, or so a lot of the softwares were there, as well as audit and so again I was wearing multiple hat over there. Lot of achievements there: SAP implementation, CRM implementation, implement the information security stack, the technology stack, implementing the first of all, drafting the entire IT strategy, information strategy, the year I joined, and then making sure it gets implemented within the next couple of years. So almost 7 years, 6 to 7 years, I was there in that company, implementing a lot of customized applications. Again, SAP implementation over there, CRM. Again, wearing the multiple hats, making sure that information security is not compromised. So lot of multiple hats wearing, and that's why you can see my hair is not there. Changing of the
Nice answer.
so that was something, wearing multiple hats, and yes. So then I joined in 2017. I joined IT company. I didn't back to square one. I started with IT company, and then I didn't join an IT company as their global IT security and IT governance head. I was there for roughly around about 1.5 years, where I was instrumental in implementing GDPR compliances. And I think we were in India one of the few companies who were compliant with GDPR already. GDPR went, and I would like to give that company an opportunity for me. Give thanks to for giving me that opportunity to implement GDPR. And within 1 week after GDPR, I was delivering lecture to ISATA Mumbai on GDPR compliances, and also to Pune and a lot many others. So that's where all my information security, the data privacies concepts, I was able to work on that. And post that in 2019, I thought, it's a good to start with something my own. So I started as a consultant, purely as a consultant, freelancing. And that's where I was working. I got an opportunity with Adena Tata Group company, where I implemented and help them to get compliant with the GDPR compliances. And I started my own company in 2020, just before the pandemic. So first year was quite tough, but then last 4 years it's been good growing. From the customer support perspective, we are growing company, and now we are able to support almost more than 50 customers, direct, indirect, as well as we have customers from across the geographies, as well as close to around about 13 industries we are supporting. So that's the whole nutshell story of mine. I hope the time was fine.
Okay. So let's dive deep. You have worked with startups, SMEs for data privacy and other work. How has the
Yes.
journey been with them? Like the challenges, see, they are very averse to implementing data privacy solutions, cybersecurity solutions. So how do you go about convincing them that this is also a part of whatever IT implementing infrastructure strategy? So how do you manage to dealing with different mindsets? A startup has a different mindset, entrepreneur and SME entrepreneur has a different mindset. So how do you go about it?
I think that's a good thing, when I left my company and wanted to start it my own, that was the whole motive to help the companies within India to improve their data security posture as well as the data privacy posture. And with that idea came and ventured my own company. So yes, the thought was very good, but literally the challenges were quite great because I'm talking of pre-pandemic because 2019, and then I will talk about post-pandemic. Now the scenarios are changed. Before the pandemic, it was quite I would say it was quite difficult to convince anybody on the information security or even on the data privacy. Data privacy in India at that particular time was only limited to very few companies. Very few people used to know about what is data privacy in 2019. Specifically the domestic companies, who are operating only in India, not apart moving away from India or any other business center. So that was a great challenge. They didn't know anything about data. Even the information security was, I would say, one of the topmost manufacturer company in the cable industry. Those cables, wire electric cables. I was facing that their IT head, and they said, information security. We have everything in place. And yeah, they did have it, but then again, convincing him to look at more was quite a challenge. I tried my best. Initially, days where, that's where, being the techie guy and then going into a and term techie role was a challenge. So a lot of convincing has to go ahead. And lot of meetings used to happen between the stakeholders, convincing them right from there's something more beyond the purely antivirus and firewall. And it was like good journey, challenging one, explaining a lot of things, and that's where I felt the awareness has to be there, and that made me to and then I would say unfortunately or fortunate, I would not like to say, for information security, pandemic was good because a lot of awareness came into it at the lot of big company level also, as well as small. But again, it was just a high level awareness, not much on in the details. So post pandemic, it was like, okay, they knew they want to do something on information security, but they don't know what to do. So that was again a challenge. So with all this stuff, I developed my own framework specifically for the SME sector, or maybe you know for those who cannot afford information security or on a very large scale or smaller companies. So I developed my own framework for that, and then I use that same framework for convincing them how we can go about in terms of services, in terms of products and all that stuff. So that was a quite challenge. So always challenges resulted into more better solutions and services for me. And it was a great learning effort for me.
That's interesting. My next question will be about virtual CISO. How can you be a virtual CISO, and what are the key requirements to be a successful virtual CISO?
I will start with the key requirements of the virtual CISO. If you want to be a virtual CISO, you need to have a very good working ethics, because when you act as a virtual CISO, a lot of the company resources or information is at your availability. So your integrity, your ethics, working ethics goes a long way. You have to be very careful in what do you speak at what point of time and to whom do you speak, because uh, in a virtual CISO sort of an environment, you are not actively working with that company, but at the same time, you are also having a very good contract agreement as well, including very strict non-disclosure clauses where you will not disclose anything. And so that is a key requirement. You need to be very ethically strong enough. You have to govern yourself a lot. Because we Indians are like, little bit that slipped away when we talked away, a lot of slip of tongues happens and a lot of information that happens. So that is where we need to be very careful. Integrity and ethics has to be very strong and we have to self-govern. So that is a requirement of the VCSO. Apart from the technical part, then of course, business understanding is again one of the key requirements you need to have it, because you are not part of the business on day-to-day basis, but you need to understand and get a lot of information from the concerned person to get about the business. So your business understanding has to be a very great thing. Of course, then of course, we see, so once you have these particular things, then it becomes quite easy, because the main concept of VCSO is, because security in itself is very niche thing industry, and very few people with good talent are available in the market. So resource run is always there. Yes, there are a lot of guys now at the junior level, but again at the senior most level, there is a huge crunch out there. So that's where this VCSO comes into picture. It helps basically the companies to hire people with good talent and experience at the senior level, and then make sure that utilize their understanding and knowledge to implement the thing, because um, sometimes it's not even affordable because of the post-pandemic. I think the salaries of the CISOs and the information security professionals have skyrocketed like anything. It's not possible even for a medium-sized company. Sometimes even the large enterprise companies are also facing a lot of crunch in terms of resources to hire a CISO full time. So, and then again, the problem happens, a very specific mindset, when you are acting as a VCISO, you basically, and if you are coming out from a different industries, I would say, I would like to use this proverb in Hindi, which is called "Dhaat dhaat ka pani pee ke aate hain hum log." So when you hire a VCISO, he has not only delivered in one particular industry, but he has seen a lot of other industries. So that experience also helps in that particular company, because they know which is the best in working across the industries and which is the best fit across the size of the company. So that is where I think, rather than a CISO who is very streamlined to a particular set of a industry or size of the company, VCISO brings a lot of other factors into picture, where cutting across the industry and cutting across the size of the company. So that's where I think VCISO helps a lot of companies to have insights into the information security.
So friends, Jatin has shared valuable insights, who wants to establish themselves as VCISO or virtual CISO. Do keep these learnings in mind, and definitely you will have a successful career as a virtual CISO. So Jatin, my next question will be, how has the adoption of GDPR compliance in India?
Okay. First of all, let me tell you that GDPR is mainly complied by a company where you offer goods or services to the European citizens, be it on their soil, or sometimes if they come on our soil, then may depend upon the industry what you are. So I have seen a lot of companies who are, I would say Indian MNCs who have operations in Europe. They are complying with the GDPR. Then most of them are, then I would say a very high good percentage of the companies who are operating out of Europe and who have a good business coming out of Europe, they are complying with GDPR. So that's not much of an issue over there. Yes, but with the Indian DPDP, Data Protection Bill Act also getting into picture, so that has changed little bit the landscape within India as well as the outside India. So the challenge is there, to integrate these two, those who have already deployed GDPR and integrate Indian Data Protection Act, which came last year. That is a huge challenge for these companies. And those who are planning to go for a GDPR compliances, who have started business in Europe or who have good business, put in a good business here and want to do a GDPR compliances, they are also will have this challenge. But then again, based on what they want. So again, there are a lot of nitty-gritties is there. The key thing is to understand the business, because GDPR talks about two things. One is data security and the other is data governance perspective. Now, data governance is more coming from the business perspective rather than the technical person. So a lot of people understand that GDPR is mainly a techie guy, the technical people will handle it out. So that's something that has to be done out. That anyways, who have implemented the company, they know what is GDPR and they are taking care of it. But again, when you talk about Indian DB, again, lot of companies in India who want to implement GDPR or want to comply with Indian Data Protection Act, then they also have to make sure that, boss, this is not only a technological requirement, this is more of a business requirement. And business has to take the lead rather than the technology guy or your IT head or your security head has to take the lead. So that's the key challenge, because it's all about data, how you manage your data, govern your data. That's where your data privacy laws and regulations come into. And then again, the other side of the coin is the data security part of it. So that is, I understand that can be dealt with, the CISOs of the world and the IT head, security head of the companies. That's fine. But that's the key differentiation the person has to make out. Who is going to handle what? And it has to be a business project rather than an IT project to be more successful.
Yeah. Thank you for this GDPR management, GDPR compliance tips. So companies want to go for, do listen to this. My another question will be interesting one, Jatin, for you, for the viewers also. Companies miss out on managing metadata. So briefly describe what is metadata and how can we safeguard against metadata in MS Word documents?
What was the last sentence? MS Word document.
MS Word, Microsoft Word.
Okay. See, I roughly touched about the concept called data governance. And when you talk about data governance, a lot of other concepts within the data governance comes into picture. Right from data creation to the data usage to data processing to the data disposal. That is entirely talks about the data governance. Now, when we talk about the metadata, that's where the floods is. That's where. Let me give you a simple example, or let me use a common language rather than a technical language, because I don't know if technical and business people, so it can be understood by everyone. So when we talk about metadata is the core data which you handle. So for example, let's say when I talk about an employee data within an organization. So what is my metadata of an employee over there? My name, email ID, my Aadhaar ID, my PAN card ID, all this becomes your metadata of an employee. And that's what you need to protect that. Of course, these are the personal side of it. Then there could be a non-personal side of it. That means it could be your salary, or it could be like the other traits of the employee, how long he has been working and all that stuff. So that is the metadata. When you talk about customers, it would be their contact details, then it would be industry segment, the size, and all that stuff. So those are the contact things, the contact person, the industry size, the requirement again would become under a metadata at a very high level when you talk about the industry and you categorize the industry within, or you segment those industry verticals. So those all becomes the metadata. So that where the data governance comes into picture, and that's where again I emphasize on the point that why GDPR and the data protection bill or act, sorry, it's not become an act, not rather than bill in India. So data protection act in 2023, they put us more, we have to put us more on the data governance rather than the data security, because data security is purely a technical thing. It can be managed and there are a lot of good guys available. But to drive that stuff, these guys will depend on the data governance piece. So data governance, metadata understanding, and to make sure that you have it, that is key thing. And when you talk about metadata, there is one more tag you need to really understand is classification of the data. You need to really understand what do you classify the data as, whether it's internal, public, confidential, or again, it depends upon company to company how they want to classify. That is also a great challenge in the data governance because I've seen companies having good security policies, but again, data automation, data management, automation, data classification, I have passes little bit because it again goes into hands of the people, and people has to be trained a lot on that stuff. So data governance, data management, or the metadata. If you want to protect the metadata of a company, you have to focus more on the data governance piece across the organization. That's why we like it.
Interesting. Thank you for that. Jatin, you have worked with key management people during your corporate career. How was your experience, and who's the one person who has impacted you, and what was it?
Okay, that's a very good question. A lot of people had impacted my way of working, my thought process, and all that stuff. But out of these guys, I remember one or two guys. First was my boss at my first company. Um, he is working. He's also working as a freelancer now, but he's quite almost close to more than. He impacted my way of working a lot. He basically inculcated the habit of being focused on what you do. Basically, be dedicated what you do, and do not. I would say, do not throw away or be persistent. There will be a lot of challenges. You will fail one day, you will win one day. There will be a lot of ups and downs, and that's where and that's where the setting up that entire lab of mine, the first lab, it was a 9-month exercise, and it was a huge impact it had created me. He was the first guy. The second, his name is Mr. Paresh Arya. And the second guy is Mr. Amirr, who is a CFO, whom I used to report in Metro. And he is, I still remember his question to me as a part of interview. He said, Jatin, if you are being exposed to, let's say, 100 calls a day, and if you're not able to sort out, 10, 15 calls a day, how will you rate yourself? Will you rate yourself as a good guy or excellent guy or a poor or average guy? I said I would rate myself as an excellent guy because if I am able to complete satisfactorily 80 to 85 calls in a day and I'm keeping those people happy, I will consider that as an excellent because I cannot make 100% people happy. So I would consider that excellent. So that was one thing. But beyond that, although he been into finance domain, the way toward his attitude, his thoughts towards managing the data, toward managing the information security is really, exceptional. I was just saying that second person, Mr. Arun Krishnan, he was basically a CFO. I used to report to a CFO, and he had a very good understanding about information security, about technology and all that stuff. And that's where I learned, how to balance the information security needs, the technology needs with the business needs. And that's where also I learned, a lot of the nuances about the businesses. So that was a great learning opportunity for me, and I think he really helped me a lot. And he always used to be a guiding factor. And still today, I go back to him. I just say whenever I request some, I get into some tricky situation, I just call him up and say, okay, sir, this is what I am. So he still, the thing. I think you still have to go a long way to improve your business skills. He said, why? I asked him why. Because you still sometimes think like, technology. Try to build a business acumen more and more. So I then noticed, sir, I will take that point. I'll try more work on that stuff. And I think that's where, that helps basically being into technology. It's not always technology which rules the world. It's basically business. And that's where I always remember, Mr. Mukesh Ambani's lecture. I think he gave some time to IITians, triple IITians in Gandhinagar. I don't remember that. I think last year he always says technology should be second. I'm not saying the exact word, but I'm just looking at the tracks what he said. Technology should be second. It should be more about business and more about people you have to work on. Because technology is for the people and people is not for the technology. And that's why if you look at my business website and it's all talks about the business enablers, we very rarely use the technology jargons in my website, and that's what we promote also. We basically protect the business enablers, which is people, process, technology, data, and things. And that's what we protect, and that's what we secure the organization for. And that's what we did at paid for.
Interesting. So, Jatin, you have been partners with different vendors like eMudra, LTT Secure. How has this partnership helped you in your techpreneur journey?
Okay, I think a good question. If you look at our mission of our company, we want to be provide a good quality solutions and innovative solutions to our customers. So we initially started with, or we are still primarily a consulting company, providing consulting services or solutions to in data security and data privacy. But when we are doing all this stuff, a lot of my customers comes into picture and says, "Oh, hey, hi, Jatin. That's very nice of you to share what we need to improve, how we want to improve, and all that stuff. But if you can help us with some tools, how we should go about the tools procurement and all that stuff." So that's where all this started. And then in one of my assignment also with one of the data group company, they had asked me, Jatin, can you do a project management for this tool because you understand a lot of nuances about this particular technology called like IEM. And of course, technology, you are aware of the technology, but this tool is, we have got a tool from this particular company. And why don't you help us with the PMC? So that's where it all started. We helped them with the project management, and that's where we came to know that, I personally came to know that people, not only from the consulting, they want some solutions to work with. Because consulting is more about, इंडिया की भाषा में हिंदी भाषा में बोलते ज्ञान देना. So ज्ञान देना अलग बात है और करना अलग बात है. So I always used to say, अरे सर आप तो ज्ञान देके चले जाते हो, बट करना तो हमें पड़ता है. तो मतलब डोंट वरी सर, आई एम देयर फॉर यू टू मेक श्योर दैट मैं ज्ञान नहीं देता, आपको करने का भी तरीका बताऊंगा, और अगर करना है और क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, वो भी बता दूँ. So that's where tying up with lot of cyber security product companies like eMudra, LTS Secure, and many more across the geographies has helped me out. Because then I am ready to, even manage engines or what you want to say. There I am ready to basically give them the solutions also. Okay, you have these challenges. Why don't you look at this solution boss? If you want to, and this is what I feel it will fit your bill. When I say fit your bill, it's not only from the requirement perspective, but also from the finances perspective also. So that's where we go, and that's where our services are a little bit different from the other companies. We make sure that at the end of the day, the customer adopts a good solution which is best fitted for him, and make sure that he gets a good ROI back. So that's made us to venture out into and the partnership is doing strong. Although some of the partners want to do more, but then again, I am saying we are primarily a consulting company, because if I go and tell them I'm selling here, coming here for product selling, he will throw me out. And that's what we have established over the years, or the last 3-4 years in the industry. that we are purely a consulting company. Yes, products are there with us, but then we don't go and promote them unless and until the customer really needs them.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Purely focusing on what your core strength, that's uh, is very important instead of handling too many things. So, Jatin, how do you keep abreast of, well, this is a technology field, so changes keep happening. So how do you keep abreast, and which websites or which books you read, or who is your a, uh, a technology person who is you're following someone in on social media on LinkedIn?
That's a very, very good question. And I think a lot of people like me who are building their own companies, who are technical by heart and want to make sure that they want to keep up. Yes, of course, that's a great challenge, So what I do is normally I keep a very simple rule. First hour of the day, don't look at the business. Don't open your email box. Just, glance through what is happening through the newspapers or through the technology you come across in your thoughts, or maybe you met someone or you know something you want to keep up there. So that's what I do. First hour of the day I always make sure that I learn something from the technology perspective, whether it is going through the lot of newsletters I receive over the email also. So sometimes I check my email box, but then I only focus on those technology related newsletters, something new which is happening, something new then which is coming up, new trends of attacks, new trends of threats, new ways of doing the things in terms of managing the technology and in terms of securing those technologies. Of course, the new technologies like AI and all that stuff again, um, I've been fortunate enough to interact with a lot of people, been so I also get some lot of clues from the customers itself, what they're talking of, and then I been a curious mind, having a curious mind that helps you out sometimes. Um, so if I get something new on my mind, then till I find something go beneath it, I get really restless. So that's also helps me out to keep updated on the technology. Yes, the only piece where I get left over is that I don't get certified. So that is something I need to work on. But again, yeah, from the technology perspective, and it's quite good, and that really helps me out. To be very frank, in one of my assignment, we had small assignment where we have to basically draw basically good practices for almost close to around about 50 technologies which is being used in that assignment. So that really helps out, keeping abreast with it. So, and I always believe that, learning never goes waste in your life, Technology, whether you learn today or tomorrow, it will definitely going to help you out. Yes, of course, it's a challenge, but I try to have some specific time, 1 hour. And of course, if I'm not able to make on the weekdays, then I make sure that on the weekends I have it. Of course, that comes with some personal things, work-life balance. But then, yeah, that's what the life is all about of being a tech planner.
Thanks for the lovely tips. So, Jatin, I'm coming to my end of your professional journey, which you have beautifully shared your journey. What advice or tips would you give to be a successful techpreneur?
Okay, I think one thing, if you want to be a techpreneur, that one has to understand is you need to be very thorough at what understanding the technology and making sure that you brief or explain that technology in a simple language which is understood by a common person, be it a CFO, be it a marketing guy, or be it a CEO. So that is what we should always focus. I am always trying to make sure that I understand this. I try to keep up myself in try to make sure that whatever I say in terms of technology, I am able to explain it to the common people or to the non-technical. And that is one thing you have to really learn. And when you talk about entrepreneurship, or you can say entrepreneurship of the technology, is the one you have to be very persistent. There will be a lot of ups and downs. At one day you are really high on the sky, at second day you are really shit in the dirt, in the really at the down level. So you have to be really strong, and of course, support from your family is really required. That's where your family support has to be there. So before starting your journey with the tech trainer, make sure that your family is with you and they support you, because without their support is going to be really a nightmare. So not only technology, but the support from the family is quite required. And I'm lucky enough, I'm fortunate enough to have a very supporting family, and that too we basically starting a journey after almost 20 years doing the job, and that also having a good income, and then going into this ups and downs of entrepreneur, that you require a lot of I would say a lot of जिगरा चाहिए जिगरा. थोड़ा बहुत हिंदी वर्ड यूज करता हूँ because a lot of darts are required, not from the technology perspective, but a lot
Emotions
of from the
हिंदी में अच्छी तरह आते हैं.
No, I love Hindi because that's where I try to connect with the common people. So if you are able to explain your technology with the common language, it really helps you out to get the ball rolling.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
My last question for the professional journey part will be: you have worked as a in a cybersecurity professional. So someone wants an IT fresher wants to start his career as a CISO cybersecurity professional. So what advice will you give him? Okay, he starts from down journey and how he can go to the top, being the top head.
Okay. That's a good question. I think I do have employ a lot of young people in my company. I give them the opportunity to work with me so that I can pass on what I have learned across my 20 years, and they also come. So the basic thing what I always tell is make sure your fundamentals are really rock solid. I mean to say rock solid when, let's say, I'm not asking you to learn each and everything. I'm not expecting you to learn each and everything. But whatever you know, it has to be rock solid. Let's say, for example, if you know something about computer networks, you should be rock solid on the fundamentals of computer networks. If you say, okay, I'm very good at application security, you should be rock solid on that stuff. So your fundamentals has to be really very, very solid, because that's where you are going to build your entire career on it. Because I still remember my first boss, he used to always say with Jatin, focus on your fundamentals. Try to learn and try to focus on the fundamentals, try to counter the concepts and all that stuff. Because IT is always an old wine in a new bottle. It's always an old one in a new bottle. It goes and if you believe karma, it always goes up and down. It's a circle of round circle. So today, again, when we talked about cloud computing, what was it? In the 70s and 80s, we used to have those core thing where only it was centralized. The compute was centralized only at the particular. We have again drawn back to the same thing. Only thing is there is a difference now. So it's all about life, different, life goes around, and it's all about old wine in a new bottle. That's it. So if you have a good fundamentals, strong fundamentals, then it makes your life much more easier and much more better to grasp the new things coming up. And then also to understand the other technologies, and then slowly you can venture into a lot of other areas within the IT information security.
Thank you, Jatin. Now, let's come to your personal journey. How has your childhood journey been?
I was fortunate enough. I spent my life. We were a joint family, so being a Gujarati, so joint family in Mumbai was a great thing to have it, and I've learned a lot of things from the family itself. Um, be it my uncles, be it my grandfathers, be it my father, mother, and everyone has their own way of working. So that was a great thing, and lucky enough, I was, graduated from a good school, and which also had a good people coming across the with good diversity in itself. So the schooling and all that stuff was quite good, and it was in Mumbai, so not that much of things. So good learning at the school, and that really helped me out to uh, build my core things. Fine. And
Which
of
college
course,
you?
then I went to graduate from VJTI. Basically, I did my VJTI, I did my diploma in electronics in VJTI, and from there I jumped to Pune University for doing my graduations, and then again back to Mumbai working, and then again along with the work I did my MBA with Wellingtons and all that stuff. So yes, overall the learning is has to be there if you want to be in a entrepreneur life. The learning never stops. I would always say the day the learning stops, you are dead.
Very true, very true. So, Jatin, when you feel low, what do you do to come back?
Whenever I feel low, I think that is very few people know about it. I have certain, I would say, 4 to 5 songs which I remember by heart, not the each and every line of that songs, which I'm just sing or murmur across, or just go and hear to my daughter who incidentally or happens to sing good songs. She is a good singer. So I try to listen to her and I just ask her, अरे आज आपने आपका गाने का रियाज नहीं किया क्या? किया नहीं है तो आप एक दो गाना सुना दो मुझे. So that really helped me out to bounce back.
Oh,
So I
Saras.
think that's where my family support and all that stuff.
Okay. Who's your biggest supporter from your family?
That's I think as I said, I have been living in a joint family. So my initial days were more support from my uncles and my grandfather. Unfortunately, they are no longer with me, but uh, those guys, their thoughts still give me a lot of inspiration. Now in my current family, I think my wife and my daughter gives me a lot of inspiration, although not from the technical perspective, but from the outlook perspective. My wife is very good at handling people. She is very fantastic. I would say I always call her my PR person because she's very good at building up the relationship. I learn a lot from her for how to build a relationship with people and how to manage that. I've learned a lot from her. And of course, my daughter is there who always asks me to go back to my natives and she also is the reason why my concepts get strengthened, because she's studying, she's doing IT. So she comes back to me and say, "Papa, आप ये थोड़ा समझा दो, ये मेरे को नहीं समझ में आया." Then sometimes she challenges me. अरे आप इतना होके भी आपको इतना नहीं समझ में आता, तो then I have to go back and learn again. So again, the family support is really there to help me, and I think that whatever I'm today is with my family support, and of course there are friends and all that stuff is also there. So a lot of good friends are also with me right from the childhood days, which has helped me a lot, personally, financially, and emotionally. So that support is
Interesting.
also strong. Yeah.
So, which is your favorite food dish?
Ah, अरे आपने गुजराती को फूड डिश पूछ लिया.
तो
So
पूछो पड़ेगा.
Basically, I love all the home cooked food a lot. I'm not that much hotel savvy. Unlike my wife, she's very hotel savvy and she likes to experimenting on the food, but I'm not that much. But I love home cooked food a lot. And if you ask me for a particular sweet dish, I think I would say sweet dish, not a food dish. It's a gulab jamun. I can eat gulab jamun at any point of time, at any point of day, even after I'm fully stuck, fully loaded with my stomach. At least I will have
Interesting.
fish, at least two couple of them, even if I'm fully loaded. My stomach is fully bloated and all this.
I will treat you to gulab jamun, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next question will be any tourist place which you like to go again and again.
um, there are many tourist places in India, but one tourist place which I always love to go again and again is called Mahabaleshwar. There are a lot of personal memories with that place. When I was in college days, and then after we got married, my and all that stuff. So I love that place really a lot. The very specific reason why I love that place, it's like ups and downs of that place. So if you want to learn a lot of things, get motivated, it's really a good place to be there. If you want to drive from Mumbai, the steepest is you have to cross through that ghat, climb up that ghat, and then you have to drive down, you drive up, and then if you want to move around, then here circles and all that. So you learn a lot and that stuff. So Mahabaleshwar is one of my favorites. I have been at least more than 3 to 4 times I have been there, or you can say every 3 to 4 years I'm there, even for a short while.
That's interesting. Okay. Now, my next question will be, since your field, cybersecurity, is very time demanding, so how do you balance work life?
I think this is a question which is going round since so many months. And it is a very hot topic nowadays in India. What should be a working hours? But I would really say, um, if you love your work, then it becomes really insignificant how much efforts do you put in, whether you count that in hours or whether you count in days and all that stuff. The key thing is you have to make sure that you love your work and enjoy your work. And then if you do that stuff, then you will always find time to balance your work as well as your personal life. Because it's like, for example, I'll just give you an example of yesterday. And I had already committed my daughter Sonu Nigam show, which happened yesterday evening. And my daughter had put that ticket almost 3 4 months back. And to be very frank, I didn't had the, I had, it literally got slipped away from my mind. So then I had to go there. And we came at night, 12 o'clock in the night. I had worked for 1 hour in the night. And then again, I woke up early in the morning and I worked on that same to make sure that I balance my work. So that's how it happens. So I think if you enjoy your work, then there is no limitation in how much you can put in. So I think it's all about a person individual thing. It's
All
like,
about passion.
yeah, it's all about passion. If you ask me, I don't know how much work Mr. Modi is doing, our our honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi is doing. I think every time I read about it, he says, he's always on the toes, he's doing a lot of things. But yes, because he loves, he's so much passionate to make sure that India in the next 25 years is one of the strongest, or is one of the, in terms of economy, in terms of the other factors, is one of the great country to live in, and where people can fulfill their. So I think he's really doing very. So I think I get inspired by him also sometimes. So yes, then you always have to feel that you enjoy your life. Why? I think then that question becomes immaterial. You will always find
Yes.
ways. Simple rule is, where there is a will, there is a way. You will always find a way.
Yes. Yeah. Very true. Very true. So we are coming to the personal journey round. Last question. Describe Jatinkumar in one line.
In one line, a simple person rooted to with ground, rooted to grounds. That's it.
Wow, impressive. So now the surprise rapid fire round, Jatin.
That's really going to be surprising me once.
Yeah, you have to be very quick and witty,
Okay.
as we have been in the conversation. One cybersecurity tip for small business.
One,
One cybersecurity tip for SME companies.
patch your systems daily.
Thank you. Next, one word to describe your leadership style.
Democratic.
Morning person or night owl?
I'm more of a morning person, but sometimes I have to be a night owl also.
Favorite tech gadget you can't live without?
To be very frank, I don't love gadgets, but of late, mobile is something which I cannot live without it because lot of things happen on the mobile.
Yeah, very true, very true. Yeah. Okay. What do you prefer in your yeah, being a techpreneur or working as a cybersecurity professional?
Okay, tech planner I prefer a lot because that's where I am able to, engage with the people, communicate what I really want to do, and that's where I can make a difference. Of course, cybersecurity professional will help me to drive that thing, but tech planner is something which I love.
Very good. Uh, Describe digital strategy in one line.
Strategy has to be very simple and stupid, understood by everyone, whether it's digital or non-digital.
Wow, impressive. So, Jatin, it was a lovely conversation we had with you. So, friends, I hope everyone has enjoyed this. We had a lot of smiles on our face. So, thank you, everyone, for listening to this conversation. You can watch this episode with Jatin on our YouTube channel, The Coffee Conversation Show. So look forward to another interesting coffee conversation with another guest speaker. It will be really interesting. So he has been a first guest speaker for our Jan 2024 series. So Jatin,
Yeah.
so
Thank you for the opportunity provided, and it was really great interacting with you and the entire team, and it has been really supportive and making sure that this showed us. And I really personally thank you to make sure that pushing me hard and making sure that that's open, and looking forward to more interactions in future. Thank you, and best of luck for the 2024. Sorry, I was lost. As I said, I always get that
okay.
till 3 or topic, so it's a glass full of what half or what.